Day 258. Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgan 111, and welcome back to Blueprints. What do we even have going on? Alright. So, it has been about 2 weeks since I recorded an episode. And the reason is, 1, I was out of town for a week. And 2, when I came back, I finally decided to play Curse Mode and Dare Mode. And so, if you somehow have missed them, I presumably am at least still preserving those VODs on Twitch. I don't know if I will also have decided... Okay, and I've got this set up over here as well. I don't think we'll be going in here today, but I'll open it up anyway in case we do for some reason. I don't know if I'll also have exported them to YouTube. If I did, there's probably like playlists or something. In any case, I succeeded at Curse Mode after about 20 hours. I probably kind of slow played it. I really enjoyed that game mode a lot. It was fun. And Dare Mode was also interesting. I got through that in about 10 hours. And as a result, I believe I can do it from here. Suppose we just log in as more ore. Can I import trophy data from here? Yes. So, select trophy data to import. How does this work? There's a Dare Mode and a Curse Mode. Great. This one, I would like to import the Dare Mode trophy, please. Import selection. Data imported successfully. In Dare Mode, if you don't know, which many of you probably won't, each day for the first 4 days, you get a new dare that accumulates, and basically restricts your gameplay. The dares I ended up with were you can't eat fruit, you can't ever let your steps go below 20. If you are choosing among 3 rooms and one of them is a red room, you have to draft it. That is a very tough constraint. And you are not allowed to draft all 5 rooms on a single rank, which is also a somewhat difficult constraint. And yeah, if you fail after you've gotten all 4 dares, you basically just immediately have to restart that day. If you fail before you've gotten all 4 days, then I think you have to just restart the entire run. It was challenging. Curse Mode, as expected, you're just cursed the entire time, so you start with 13 steps and have a bunch of disadvantages for drafting different color rooms. It was super duper duper fun. And I loved it, so let's go to my Curse Mode thing. Day 92. It says 0 trophies. Why do I not have the trophy for the Curse Trophy? Uh-oh. Okay, danger, Will Robinson, danger. I guess I need to go figure that out. And I've got this day set up for possibly trying to draft a 20 Dead Ends house. So I'm going to Alt F4 out of this. I'll be back in a bit. I guess if you want to see what the profiles look like on this menu, I can show them. I spent about 10 hours playing Dare Mode and about 20 hours playing Curse Mode, roughly. Here's my Curse Mode playthrough. Maybe I never saved the day after. They have different startup screens. The music transitions seamlessly, too. That's very nice. But Curse Mode has the red startup screen and like the deep, scary music. And so presumably this is the next day, and I can walk in and get my trophy and then save. And yeah, the next day. And then it will actually save this trophy in my progress. I got the achievement on Steam, but I guess I never saved this day. And just as a reminder, when you are cursed, these are the disadvantages you have in addition to starting with 13 steps. There's no apple orchard in curse mode, by the way. The apple orchard has been burned down. And there's no shrine. Is there no outer room at all? Or is it just the shrine? I think it's just the shrine with the monk. Has been, rocks have fallen into it and blocked the way. So those are two advantages that you cannot get in cursed mode. But let's grab my cursed trophy. Great. And then I will call it a day so that that actually gets saved. And then we can go import it from the other save file. So I'm back in the main save file. And I guess since I didn't save the day, won't probably have saved in importing the other trophy, probably. Select trophy dated import. So if I say curse mode, it says that I could get the curse trophy. Data imported successfully. Did it save the other data import? How would I know? I guess I can look at the trophy log back in the entrance hall. Like, this might not be worth doing. I don't really want to, while I'm sitting down right now, try to draft to win the drafting sweepstakes of 20 exits. So I might have to re-import these another time. Let's see how this looks. It shows the curse but not the dare, so it didn't save that, of course. So, alright, well that's a little bit frustrating, but that's just how this game goes. Okay. So what are we going to do today? So I wanted to talk about having played those game modes. I am following 11 different playthroughs of this game right now on Twitch and YouTube and otherwise. And as a result, I keep seeing things in other people's playthroughs that I want to follow up on because I want to see most everything in my own game. And so what I want to do with today's episode is to try to just, like, my list just keeps getting longer and longer and longer, and I have to tame it. And so one way to tame it is, at this point, there's a lot of low-hanging fruit of things that I have not seen that we could witness together. And so I want to try to see some of those things. So let me just look through my list and let's take a look. Some of the things on my list are more obscure than others. One thing I've been trying to do is look at the wood textures on lots of wood. Someone pointed out to me that if you look in the center of the screen, you can see from the lighting in this room the reflection of the underside of the entrance hall table. And if you look closely, right where my mouse cursor is in the center, there is something underneath the entrance hall table that is well reflected in the light gray tiles. There's like a brighter spot. I guess you can see it in the dark gray tiles too. There's kind of various kind of scratches and textures on the floor. But there's something like stuck underneath the table almost, it looks like, or something. And I don't know what that is, but I sure am curious about it now that I know that it exists. I don't want to really go in here today, but I opened it up because it gets some good background music while I talk about some stuff they just have in screenshots. In the opening cutscene, we see an invitation to Miss Maribel's recital, and I've seen it suggested, and it makes sense, that this is some kind of coded message for Herbert to meet Mary in Araja. I'm struggling to fit it into the timeline because it says Thursday Eve, August 30th at 8 p.m. at her home, 403 7th Street, if I've been able to read the text correctly. And Thursday, August 30th, 1991, I think, is the only year that would work in the timeline. And presumably, if Herbert was intended to meet Mary, then that would imply that that was part of his world tour when he was traveling to Araja, I think. But if he was on his world tour, then that doesn't line up with the timeline in terms of Denny breaking in and stealing things just a couple weeks earlier, and had to make sure that Herbert was out of the house, because Herbert would have already been out of the house for like a month at that point, I think. So I'm not sure exactly what to make of that. But Maribol definitely sounds a bit like Marigold. And so that's something that I'm still looking into. The timeline is still muddled. I was coming out here to draft the outer room because there's still a screenshot in the shelter that I missed that I need to update after they've had updates to the game to fix various typos and things. So there's one date I need to correct in one of my own screenshots, and there's still more stuff I'm trying to munge through in the timeline, but I'll get to it eventually. Eventually we're going to go through the whole timeline, and it's going to be good. In the credits that we witnessed after I first got to room 46, and which I've now seen in a bunch of other people's playthroughs as well as in my Curse Mode and Dare Mode run, one thing that seemed very suspicious to me that I had noticed was that in the voice actor credits, Herbert was there, Simon was there, Herbert was there, Mary was there, Alzara was there, and I had heard all of them speaking, like Herbert's speaking in the opening cutscene, Mary is speaking in the Room 46 cutscene, Alzara speaks in all of the Alzara prophecies, but Simon P. Jones, was also credited with a voice actor, and I had not heard his voice, and so I was very suspicious about what am I missing in the game, that obviously a voice actor was hired to speak lines for Simon that I hadn't heard. But then in Dare mode, when you fail a dare, Simon actually voices words from the storybook Swimbird that speak to the failure. I don't remember exactly what the lines are. Maybe I'll edit them in at some point. And so that explains that, but that was an outstanding mystery that I realized off-screen since the last episode, and then also solved off-screen since the last episode by playing Dare mode, so I just wanted to call it out. In the room directory, this is something that someone else noticed that I'm only looking at now. Room 46, H.S. Sinclair's and Despite the Houses. Look at the little tiny apostrophes before the S's here. And then let's go compare, for example, to the entrance hall, which has an apostrophe here with guests that has a much larger apostrophe. Is this just because they were copying text from different, like there's a lot of different apostrophes that happen in like different texts or something, or is the text actually like larger here? Let's see, this is 6 lines long of text. I think room 46 was even shorter. No, this is 7 lines long of text. So it might be the fact that the text is actually scaled to the length of the room description. Is there a way for me to easily tell that? Well, this one only has 3 lines. I guess I could take a look at that. But possibly if there's tons of text, I'm trying to think of... this one is also long, but I don't see an apostrophe in it. Like, none of this is none of this is going to be meaningful, right? It's just like, I'm scrutinizing every pixel that's on the screen now, because that's what this game doesn't insist that I do. Actually, very far from it. But that's like my nature in terms of how deeply embedded I am in the game right now, so these are the types of things I'm going to be looking at. Get comfortable. So in the attic, there is a photo of Tomas, or Thomas. Oh, the elevator is here. I don't have an easy way to deal with that right now. Standing with young Herbert and Simon, my grandfather and uncle, out here looking down into kind of like the precipice valley or whatever. and he is pointing downwards, and Herbert is kind of looking off into the distance, and Simon is like pulling on his pants leg. And then in the final cutscene from room 46, getting to room 46 the first time, Mary is pictured standing out here, looking over the edge, and she is holding a pair of like binoculars or looking glass kind of things. And so there's like cloudy mist that's always going by when you're looking down here, but someone saw that they had seen something, and so I just want to take a look for myself and see if I can see it for myself. But I don't know if I have to like turn off the elevator to be able to stand out there, or if I can just see it from out here. So let me just kind of squint for a bit and look out here. I guess I could go down. Actually, I think I might get a better view. Let's also, while I'm up here, just kind of like look from over here as well. Gosh, there's a lot that you could try to look at here. But I wonder if it might be easier to see from downstairs. So let's go downstairs together and get some spooky music, and then what is that? There's like something there. Yeah, there's less mist here now. So I'm not sure what I'm looking at in the center of the screen here. Sorry if my voice sounds different, I'm leaning in. And also, is there something down here? But yeah, this is definitely, it could just be like there's a big rock over here. It could be some smaller rocks. That might just be what it is. That might just be what it is. Now that I've got a better look, it kind of looks like a mushroom or something, but I think it's a large rock with a smaller rock in front of it that kind of looks like it could be a mushroom stem. I'm not sure that's what the person I was watching thought that they were seeing. My eyesight is not as good as other people. But yeah, I think you could just kind of like barely see like a riverbed down here. And there's like something in the riverbed. And then bits of land. Yeah, I never appreciated how much of the world you can see looking to the south. Okay, back into Blackbridge Grotto. This was a random thing that actually just occurred to me last night. Lee B. There were all the fictitious admin logs that had been left in order to send Detective Bon Margle of the Red Guard down the garden path, so to speak. Lee B. 3 new admin keys have been added. Lee B, Prob C, and Hoon Yu. It occurs to me that I know what Hoon Yu is. Blackbridge Grotto, The Curse of Blackbridge story. Jesper was a member of the Unholy Hounds, and if we treat Unholy as the first name and Hounds as the last name, then encode it as an admin key, it would be Hoon Yu. Houn for Hounds and U for Unholy. There are some things that I would like to see in the house. I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to find all of them in a day, and so I'm just going to do some drafting and see which I can manage to find to show on camera right now. Almost immediately, I got the planetarium. Hooray! In the planetarium, I've been looking for letters of the alphabet. This little base thingy that this thing is sitting on is a lowercase e. There's a little cutout right here. And so if we look at it like this, it definitely looks like a lowercase e. In the chapel, if I look at the description in the room directory, it is a red room, is watched over by 8 adjourn angels. We've got some Mount Holly stained glass there, and we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 angels. The 8th angel must be in the blue sky large stained glass painting here that is covered up by this sun altar thingy, and it's got to be Draxus. in the blueprints, we seek what's in the shade of truth became we seek what's in the shade of blue. Blue sky. We can see the wings. Like if I stand back, you can see in the top corners there are wings here. So there definitely is a stained glass Adjuran angel there. Huh. This is actually on the outside of the house in a good spot. Can I see the outside of this from outside the house? I don't think I've ever tried to do that. I don't have the garage. And yeah, it doesn't show me any like true to form stuff. I wonder if I could get the garage just to the north of it. It is the case that if you get the garage north of the secret garden, you can see the outside of the secret garden. The chapel is currently right here, though. Here's my house map that I've drafted so far. And it's in the quote-unquote barren ground spot. I can't remember if I've talked about this on camera, but you can't draft the secret garden here because the secret garden spans out, and this would be over where this little river is. You can prove that you can't draft it there by... It's hard to get a key door to appear there, but if you start here and get a secret passage that leads to an orange room in order to get a great hall facing this way, which always has a locked door, and then try to use the secret garden key to unlock this door, it will not unlock with the secret garden key. It's barren ground and you're not allowed to put the secret garden there. And the reason, I think, is the simple mechanical reason that the river cuts through here. And that needs to always be there, even if you have like the garage north of the secret garden and can see the outside of the secret garden. So, guess I could try another day to get like the chapel. That's actually an interesting thing to do. I'm going to put it in my notes. Get the chapel here in the 3rd rank against this wall, and the garage there in the 4th rank, and come outside through the garage door and see if I can witness the outside of the chapel, stained glass, to see if I can witness Draxus there. That is worth trying. I don't know how much I buy it, but I had seen it commented somewhere that the word "the" is in the workshop if you're standing at the table. And if I'm standing right here, and I look over in this corner, and especially the way this light is illuminating these chairs, this chair leg, and then the 2 sides of the chairs look kind of like a letter T. The front of this chair looks like a capital letter H. And then the right side of this chair kind of looks like the letter E, so it's almost like it's writing the word "the" there. I don't think that's actually a thing. If I see it from other angles, I think it's just the H. I think there's an H here in the workshop. The front of this chair, the way it's illuminated, is extremely capital H-like to me. And so I need to take a screenshot of this and add it to my screenshot of letters. Yeah, and I don't think that's just a misinterpretation. Like, this is a unique chair in the entire house as far as I can recall. So I really do think that there's a letter H here. I had seen someone once ask if Mount Holly was on the equator of this planet. And assuming that this globe is accurate, I don't believe it is. Because... like Fen, the grand city of Fen would be over here. Oris would be somewhere down here, but I think Reddington is like around here, which is definitely in the northern hemisphere on this map, it looks like. I don't feel like this map is well proportioned. I'll try to find another globe to get a different look. Apologies if I've already talked about this. I couldn't remember. But in terms of constellations... the Southern Cross was required for doing the clock puzzle to eventually get the Key of Ares to open up the treasure trove box to get the scepter. And so there's another constellation, that's the Southern Cross. You'll recall that there was a blue memo that said in eclipses are only visible in the northern sky. I presume the Southern Cross is in the southern sky. There is a northern sky related star. It's the North Star. I think it's also the hardest star to witness from the observatory because I think you can only get it when you have 1, 51, 101, or 151 as your star count. I could be wrong about that. But I think that might be the case. Maybe also 41, I'm not sure. In any case, it's not easy to witness this. I feel like there is going to be another puzzle where we have to have the North Star in the sky and possibly also like go outside and like look at the sky for something. And so that is definitely something that's still going to be on my radar as well. Okay, this one's pretty wild. I'm in the morning room and I had heard someone assert that there were letters inside the teacup. I don't know that you can see it here, but if I magnify it, it definitely looks like there's like 3 letters and then 4 more letters that end in like HIX or something in the bottom of the teacup there. What about the other teacup? Can I see anything? It's harder to get close to this one. I don't know that I can actually see inside the base of this one at all. I think it's distinctly possible that there are also letters in the base of that teacup, but it is much harder to see and I really can't read it. It might be the same set of letters that's in the other teacup as well. But yeah, that does appear to be another crazy case of some hidden stuff in some of the textures that's basically extremely faint and hard to see unless you're looking in the right spot at the right angle with the right magnification. I can't recall if I pointed out on camera, but there are arrows on the wood here and here in the sauna that I am noticing. I've already got screenshots of those. Since we're in the business of looking at letters today, I just right after that drew the solarium, and obviously the T here is one of the things that caused me to go looking for letters in the first place, since it's, I'm going to say so obvious, but I didn't see it until other people pointed it out in some of the playthroughs that I've been watching, so maybe it's not obvious enough. There have already, like, at this point, like 20 episodes of my series have aired on YouTube, and people have pointed out a lot of things that I fail to see even when it's like right in front of me. And I have very selective vision. Like, I'm good at like filtering for what I'm looking for, and I can see things when I'm looking for them and completely ignore other things when I'm not. Since I'm very attuned to looking for wood grain, this is a glass table that you can see through, but it has wood grain on it. There are little lines running across it, just like some of the wooden tables that we see elsewhere in the house. How curious is that? I don't know. It's pretty curious, I would say, though. An interesting choice. I don't know that in my own playthrough I have witnessed the outside of the rotunda when it's not properly rotated to be able to access it. You can kind of see the gears and things that turn it around, but I think I have seen someone else in their playthrough witness this from all 4 sides, and it's not the case that, like the secret passageway, that there's necessarily anything special to witness on the back of the doorway. I'm in the office, and someone had pointed out that in this picture of the Elder Simon, if we look very closely at his left ear, there is a number 8 that looks kind of like the stylized number 8 in Platform 8. I can try to blow it up. The servants' quarters of Hartley's room have a number of different wood textures. Like there's these diagonal lines that kind of come out of nowhere over here. There's like a curved dash line, almost like the kind of like sea route paths that we see on the globe over here. And there's just a dashed line that's going straight up and down over here that I don't think we encounter in many other places. I don't know that it's meaningful. The attic has this unique circular window that I think actually appears also in the opening cutscene somewhere. Hopefully I'll remember to edit that in. But while I'm up here in the attic, I had mentioned earlier this picture of Thomas pointing from the precipice, standing on top of the elevator, pointing down into the valley like he's looking down at something. And it's kind of a similar place, I think, that Mary was looking towards. And I'm fairly certain I have pointed out that in Baroness Arave's portrait, it looks like she's also pointing down toward the ground. I think I've seen in the trailer for this somewhere where it looks like there's crashing through some broken, splintered wood that I haven't witnessed in the game. And I think it might be if you get a treasure map that leads to the attic and try to dig, maybe you'll fall through or something. I think there's actually a few like Easter eggy kind of things with treasure maps that will take a lot of effort. Well, they'll take a modest amount of effort at least for me to dig up. I do plan to do that since I have recently learned of them. But I think at this point I've drafted out the house, but there is something underground I want to go take a look at. I thought I had seen someone describe a numeral 2 that was like hidden in a texture, possibly on this electrical panel, but I'm not seeing it myself. So I'm not sure if I'm looking in the wrong spot or what's happening there. But in any case, another thing that had been pointed out somewhere was Denny's ransom note, presumably Denny's ransom note in room 46, about 8 letters, pay 100 gold to get each one back. If there were 8 letters stolen, the 8th letter that we get back is from the ransomer. It's not one of Herbert's original letters. And so the implication is, I guess maybe there's 9 letters because there's 2 missing that were stolen that we never read. Number 3 and the original number 8 that the ransomer replaced with their own letter, maybe? I'm not sure how to interpret that. Also, some neighbors have just started doing some outdoor work, and I have been recording for an hour and a half already. I have a feeling this video is going to turn out being short, but I think that's okay. I'm going to go ahead and stop for now, and maybe next time we'll actually try to win the drafting sweepstakes. After the very difficult time I had doing Dare Mode and Curse Mode, it was so easy to draft a house any way I wanted to today. I'm kind of looking forward to doing that all of a sudden, so maybe we'll do that next time. I'm not going to call it a day because I do want to start with all the benefits that I've got going in this run, so I'm just going to Alt F4 out of this one. I'm going to say I hope as always that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more blueprints. For now, bye-bye.